All right, I am now joined by a very, very, very special, longtime friend, recurring guest. It is Eric Arditti. He covers the Orioles and MLB for Barstool Sports. You can also hear him on the Exit 52 podcast, chopping it up, talking birds in Baltimore. Eric, it's great to see you, man. I think we haven't done these in a little bit, so I wanted to have you back on Talk Birds. How are things up there in the Dirty Bernie?
It's not as good as we thought it would be. It's coming, baby steps so far. But no, it's been a tough year, as everybody knows, for the O's, but nothing you can really do. Just kind of have to grin and bear it and see if they can make something out of this. I think there's like 110 games, something like that left. I don't know. There's still plenty of time, but they're leaking oil for sure. So there's plenty of things to fix. A lot of holes. But they're playing better the last week, so that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, 3 game win streak, 1934, I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love every time I see Get 'em tomorrow boys on X. It's just like I'll see him just give up a massive home run in the first inning, check the bird. It's like, yep, there it is. Like
Again, sometimes
clockwork.
Carabas says it with the Red Sox. You got to protect your peace. Like,
Yep.
there's no reason. I tell people that all the time. They're the game where they're losing 19-5. I saw Rafael Devers make contact with the ball and turn the game off and was at target like as they were still getting scored on. And I'm getting blown up with like tweets and texts being like, oh my God, are you watching this? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
No.
You shouldn't either. Like, it's perfectly okay to turn it off and not watch. Like, if you're going to get mad and upset, turn it off. Like, you have that right. You can go touch grass. Like, I will do that. I'm going to go outside. Like, perfectly fine. Go on a walk, go on a run or something, like, don't torture yourself. Like, just, people like to do the like, oh, I watch every game. I'm a bigger fan than you. It's like, brother, I've watched every game for 35 years. Like, don't try and out fan me. But like, if it's a bad game, don't watch. It's okay. Like, you're not going to offend anyone by not watching. It's perfectly fine. So, yeah. And then, yeah, I'll send to Get them tomorrow, boys, and turn on the cooking channel or HGTV or something, and we'll go from there.
That's such a great point about like the people online that like to claim how big of a fan they are. It's like, you don't know ball. I know ball. It's like, okay, okay, dude, sick. Good for you.
Sure, whatever, man. Yeah, that's fine. I'm like, I was in the ballpark when I was 7 years old in 1996 in the ALCS. Like, okay, if you want to like, put your fandom up against mine, sure, okay, that's fine. Like, if that helps you sleep at night, go for it, man. Yeah, you're right. You nailed it. So,
It's all they have. Yeah.
pretty
Is
much.
is this period of Orioles baseball, is it worse than the dark times because we were supposed to be
Oh,
theoretically competitive this year?
no, we had 14 straight years of a game that didn't even matter. Like, there were no meaningful games in 14 years. Think about that. Like, you're almost born and like learning about getting your learners before there was a like meaningful game being played. Like, this, I mean, you see this all the time with teams. We've seen it with the Blue Jays the last couple of years, where it's like, oh, this is their year, they're going to win the World Series, and then they're 500 or they're bad. Like, this happens to teams all the time. It just hasn't happened to an Orioles team that has had expectations, and it sucks when you get kicked in the face like this, and you kind of realize like, damn, my season. We're not even at Memorial Day week. This is last week. We're not even at Memorial Day weekend, and this season's over. Like, this kind of stinks, but um, it's a wake up call to the team, the players, the front office, the fans, and all that. But no, I mean, the dark ages, the 14 straight years of I'm telling you, there was no hope then. There was nothing. Like, that was the worst thing of it all. It was like, they're going to be bad this year and next year and the year after. There's no farm system. No one is signing here, and they did that for a decade and a half. So it's just like, there was nothing you could take out of it. There was no like, well, this Melvin Moore guy's turning into a good player, but it's like, yeah, but who cares? Like, there's just no fulfilling, I don't know, anything there. So no, the 14 straight losing years was as bad as it could get.
I was always a sucker for like, because I was a kid, obviously, when this was happening. They'd be in first place in May, and I'd be
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Hey, Dad, no, you got to turn this game on. They're doing it." Do you have a favorite Dark Ages prospect that you thought was going to be good?
Um, I was always a big Larry Bigby guy. For
Yeah.
some reason, I really liked his stance. I loved how he hit. I liked Luis Matos. I sat next to him at a Wizards game, after he broke his thumb bunting because he had his thumb on the bat and bunted and it hit him on the thumb, which is like the number one thing you learn in baseball. He was a good one. Obviously, Daniel Cabrera. I mean, how can you
Oh,
not love Daniel
gas.
Cabrera? I got a text from Carabas the other night, and it was like, I don't know, 12:05 or something. I think it was, when did they play the Red Sox? It was supposed to be Thursday to Sunday, and it was like Wednesday night at like, yeah, like late that night. And he was like, "Hey, are you up?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he was like, "Who was that big motherfucker that just used to throw strikes?" Or he was like, "Who used to strike everyone out, but he would also hit everyone and walk everyone." And he was like, maybe like 2012. And I was like, "Are you thinking of Daniel Cabrera?" And he's like, "Yes, that's the name." And I was like, "Yeah, he was like 04 to like 09, I think." But yeah, like he was probably a good one. He was just throwing 100 and had no clue where it went. And everyone knew someone like that, like in high school. We had a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he was like, "Oh yeah, this guy throws like mid 80s, but he might as well be throwing with his eyes closed because he doesn't know where it's going." And that was Daniel Cabrera. So he was always a fun one.
I
I
love
think
the
one
idea of
year he was like 8-19 with like a 5.5 ERA. He gave up so many home runs too. It was walks, and that is a fun baseball reference page to look at. I would say go check that out.
I just like Jared just like racking his brain at like midnight. Like, God, why can't I think of this guy?
My thinking was, he was like, they were talking about something on the pod and they were like just making fun of the Orioles, because that was before like Bregman got hurt and that was before they had lost 3 straight. So I was like, oh, they're feeling good about themselves. I was like, they're just gonna make fun of the Orioles the entire podcast right now. So I was like, yeah, let's see where this goes. I didn't follow up on it and see like what was going on, but I'm sure it was some good material on the podcast.
I talked to Rodrigo Lopez one time, and he said he never played catch with Daniel Cabrera because he was scared he was going to get hurt.
Yeah. Again, it's like you don't know if it's going over your head, or I mean, if he's gonna like short hop you. I wouldn't play catch with him either. That's scary. So I don't blame him.
The Orioles pitching as of late, though, somebody like put up like the 420 game winners, and it's just like this is Dean Kramer, Trevor Rogers, and it's gotten a lot better. But man, there was that run, especially Charlie Morton. I feel bad for him because every time I see a post game or just like a long quote from him, it's like the saddest, most depressing thing ever. They were 0-12 when he pitched up until the last game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the state of the rotation thus far? Is it going to be better down the stretch?
I would think so. I would hope so. Eventually, I know Grayson threw on flat ground today. I know he'll be at Aberdeen soon, rehabbing. Kyle Bradish is going to come back soon. It sucks that you're like putting all your eggs in those baskets of like guys who are coming back from major injuries. But same thing. Tyler Wells will be back eventually at some point too. So you're going to get those are 3 legit arms, kind of power arms, and that's what the Orioles need. Again, it was such a disservice by the front office and everyone. Believe me, I've read every piece and I've seen every MLB. I love MLB Network and all the people on there. But it's like, I get it. Every morning when I turn on the TV, I don't need to see like, what were the Orioles thinking this offseason? It's like, yeah, we know it sucks. Like we know. You don't have to keep reminding us, guys. We get it. But I get it. They're just doing their job. It's whatever. But yeah, it was annoying when every person and mother would be like, "Here's their stats over this stat." That, like, yeah, we watch. We know how bad they are. I don't need a number to tell me that Charlie Morton was not good or that Kyle Gibson gives up 8 billion home runs, but he's a good guy. Like,
Yep.
but again, it has to get better, and if it doesn't, then they'll finish 30 games under 500. And I hope it is a wake up call for Mike Elias and Sig and the front office and those guys who it seems like they were okay with letting Corbin Burns go, and that's fine. You can't sign all your, the big guys, the big free agents, but and again, we give them crap for Gibson and for Morton, but for as bad as they have been, Sagano has been just as good. So you do have to tip your cap to them. That and Adam, that was a big Adam Jones signing too. So he was kind of the guy standing on the table, being like, I faced this guy in Japan and he is awesome. Like, we got to get this guy. So shout out to him for that. But again, I think it will slowly start getting better. It just, they got to get some of these arms back. And if Morton can do what he did, on Monday, on Memorial Day, I mean, going forward, that would be great. That would be a big help. So yeah, it'll get better, I think. I hope.
I watched Elias's media tour where he was just on every podcast just looking like he hadn't slept in a week. Just like, we knew the rotation was going to be a weakness. We thought the bats would help overcome what that might have been on the New York Post sports pod. I never listened to that pod in my life, and I was like, oh, Mike's
Hammond,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
What's up with that? So I listened to that, and it was like, I feel like they knew like, if Corbin Burns wasn't born in Arizona or isn't from Arizona, like, this would have been a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I mean, we knew that he wanted to go back there, and he was flying back there, back and forth, and to be with his family and the new babies, and that's perfectly fine. Um, again, they offered what they offered, and it wasn't enough for him or for Boris or whatever. But I know that they went after Sasaki, who had zero interest in coming here, and it's kind of like whatever. Even I mean, a guy like Jeff Hoffman, they were in on Jeff Hoffman in the bullpen. They had that signed, sealed, delivered. There were graphics made. There were things ready to go. And before they backed out, and you've seen how his career and the Blue Jays have gone up and down, kind of. But even like Clay Holmes, they made a move for Clay Holmes. They tried to. He's been awesome with New York. It's just it sucks being close and close and close. Like you can't. At some point, you got to stop flirting, and you just got to go in and kiss her. Like you got to get that kiss going. But it's they're going to have to do something like that. You're going to have to trade. You're going to have to. I said it on our podcast. It's the Tyler Durden from Fight Club. You got to break some eggs to make an omelet, and if that's trading a Kobe Mayo or a Heston Kjerstad or Dylan Beaver, someone like that, you got to do it. But we're hopefully this is an eye opener where they're like, yeah, maybe we're not as close as we thought we were, and maybe we do need to accelerate this process a little bit and see if we can get this going. Because again, if the money's not working for them, you can still trade for guys. You have plenty of ammo to trade for guys. So hopefully that's something that we see happen either during this season, in the off season, at the winter meetings, sometime. But people, they can't have another off season like that next year, or there's going to be some empty offices in the warehouse with people looking for jobs. So, I
mean, people already think that there should be now, but like, I don't know. I don't have a lot of like faith in the ability to trade for guys, because every time you'll see on X, it's like they'll put the graphic up of like Kyle Stowers, Connor Norby for Trevor Rogers, and I know Trevor Rogers just pitched a great gem last time out, but like Kyle's hitting 300 with 10 bombs in Miami. Like, how long do you think that trade will haunt us, or even you personally?
Zero. I mean, again, Stowers. Because people are like, how do they trade Stowers over Kjerstad? Well, Kjerstad was the number 2 pick in the draft. Like, they're not going to move on from him they weren't going to move on from him that soon. Stowers had plenty of opportunities here. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. But like, he had plenty of chances here, and he had the home run against the White Sox, and he had some moments, but he had his time and didn't really do much with it. So they decided to move on from him. Same with and Connor Norby. Norby was never ever going to play here. You look at who was in front of him all around the diamond. It's 3 potential, 2 guys who have made an all-star team, and Jackson, who is playing out of his mind this year. So obviously, yes, with Westberg being hurt and all that, and Gunnar being hurt to start the year, it's like, oh, it would have been nice to have him. But if they didn't trade him last year, then everyone would have said, oh, they're hoarding prospects. How do you hold on to these guys again? So it's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So it's, that trade, again, I don't think either of them were ever going to play here. I'm sure they both wanted to go somewhere where they were going to play, and Miami is a place where that happens. And I'm happy that they're both doing well, and I'm hoping Stowers is a first year All-Star. That would be awesome if he's a representative there. So I think he's a damn good shot at doing that too. So that would be pretty cool for him, and what his career has turned into. So I'm still rooting for him. I'm not like tossing and turning, being like, if we had Kyle Stowers instead of Dylan Carlson, and maybe they would have won a couple more games.
The Wolverine meme, just in bed looking at the
yeah. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. They're not Manny Machado or anything here. Like, well, I get that people like them and wanted them here, but like I said, if they didn't trade them, then people would have just said, how do you not trade these guys? It's unfair to them. Then they trade them, and it's like, how dare you trade those guys? Why would you do that? So,
there's a lot of the discourse, but I don't know what we're doing to some of these prospects that's stunting their development. Like Heston, are we in or out on Heston? It's been tough, but like, he's also been a victim of the last couple of years of just like up, down, or just like platoon. But now full-time Heston's not great.
No, again, I mean, he's done nothing. I mean, he had the home run against Texas last year. He had a home run earlier this year. I forget who that was against, but I mean, if you watch his at bats, it's like they kind of challenge him with fastballs early. He's way late on those every single time, and then they bury a breaking ball, and it's either one, it's a ball, and then it's a straight, it's always like a 1-2 count, and then they bury one, and he's walking back to the dugout. He's just for a guy who we were told is by far the best college bat in that draft. He has shown nothing, and not just like power wise. I mean, what we hear all the time. I know a guy who's one of the ushers at Camden Yards, and he's like, he'll text me, being like, "Oh, he's Kjerstad's hitting it up in the next to the sign next to the scoreboard. Like he has big time power." And it's like, where is it? It's not here. I don't. During the games, again, it's not even like, oh, he's driving it for a double or he's hitting the gaps. He's doing nothing. He either rolls over to second, or it's like a lazy fly ball to left field. And I don't get it, because again, we were told by everyone, and he mashes in AAA, and then he comes up here and it's like he's never, I mean, again, it's like he's never not guessed right, but he's never like on time for a fastball. He's so late on everything. So again, I don't know what's up with him. Again, he's not a great defender either. He's made a couple good plays in the last week. He had 2 in Milwaukee in that game that broke the streak, and then he had that catch in Fenway where he banged up against the bullpens out and right. But I don't feel comfortable with him out there. And Cowser's coming back. I think Sunday he can come back off the 60-day. The way Dylan Carlson hit this weekend, and at least he can play defense and has some speed and is a switch hitter. It may be Kjerstad going down, and I don't blame them. I mean, again, the guy he's had, I looked at it earlier. I forget how many at bats he has, like 140 or something like that. He's played in 46 out of 53 games, because somebody was like, well, they're not giving him a chance. And I was like, I don't know. He's had a long leash this year, just because they don't have anyone else really out there. So I don't know what's going on with the development and stuff like that, but I think it's something. I don't know if it's too much going on, and they're trying to read too much stuff. At some point, you just got to see ball and hit ball. Like, forget everything you're learning and watching on the iPad. Just go up there and try and hit the ball. Like that would be my advice. But that's also why I'm sitting here and not in a dugout somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I just don't. He doesn't do anything for me. So I don't know. We'll see.
And that's all offseason. We just heard people clamoring for full-time Heston. We got it. So
even early on, like when he wasn't playing, they were like, how do you not bat Heston? How do you not? I had some guy try and dunk on me on Twitter. I have his tweet screenshotted. I went back and found it this week. And he's like, this dude doesn't think, he said Heston's a meh hitter. Cause I was like, yeah, he's meh. He's fine. And so I'm sitting on it being like, just wait, brother. Like, I don't forget. Like, again, I want him to do well. I hope
of course.
Pro. Like, I would love if he was a 260 hitter with 35 home runs, and we could all do the steak meme forever and ever. But he looks as lost could be up there. So I don't know.
Maybe that's why they added all these extra outfielders in the offseason. Because at the time we're like, why are we getting Laureano and Carlson? Like,
and Laureano and Carlson, like they've won them games. They've played very like Laureano before he had that somersault thing. He played very, very well. And he won them that Reds game, where he came in after Heston got hit. And that's the other thing with Heston. He's always getting, and it's never his fault. And I get that. But the injuries, it's like he's getting 98 to the ear hole. He's getting hit on the elbow every other week. Like it's all these funky injuries, and they kind of just linger. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, but he just doesn't look comfortable. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable if I had gotten hit the amount of times he has. So, but I feel like he's just he has the leg kick and he's moving his bat like this, and his head is like, he looks like a bobblehead. And it's like, dude, just give him, I don't know, man, get him one of those prescriptions for ADD, and just like let him just focus and sit there and like stop moving and just hit the ball. So I don't know. We'll see, but I hope I'm wrong.
We need Matt Holliday hitting coach to work with him too.
See, people ask me that, and I'm like, no, because then when Jackson, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like if his dad is telling the other guys how to do it, like, and then they fire it, then you get the Cal Senior thing where if they fire him, Jackson's definitely going. It's like there's all this stuff. Like you got to think about that. So I don't know. I'll let him change your swing when they go to the hitting barn out in Stillwater, Oklahoma, like they do. I know they all like Calzer spends like a week there every offseason, and Joey Gallo and all those guys. So I'll let it change it there, but I don't know if I want Matt Holliday in uniform in the dugout.
That's a good point. So I think maybe you said this before, but I would like a whole team out of Ryan O'Hearns. He's
Mm-hmm.
leading the team in WAR. He's having a career year. He's a 340 hitter. Weirdly in the fifth hole still for some reason. Don't quite get that. But how much have you loved watching O'Him this season?
He's Ryan O'Bonds is what I started calling him today. He's been so much fun to watch. Again, I mean, I did the event with him at Jimmy's 2 weeks ago, and at one point he said I was the 26th man on probably the worst team in baseball, and he was like, nothing about that is fun. By the way, another 3-pitch strikeout for Heston Kjerstad, so good stuff there, brother. But he was like, listen, I just want to see, and yeah, it was in the dirt. Of course, it was in the dirt. But he was like, I was the worst player on the worst team in baseball. Like, and he was telling me how, with Ned Yost and Mike Matheny and those guys, they don't really favorite rookies and young guys. And he was like, I knew that if I struck out, there's a chance that I would be done. That would be my last at bat. So he was saying, like, at one point, I think he told me that he was on the roster for the full season and he only had 130 at bats. And he said he went 18 games without an at bat, like without playing at all. And at one point, he called up his agent and was like, "Hey, man, tell them to DFA me. Like, I'm done. I'm done with this. Like, I'll go back to college or something like that." And his agent had kind of talked him out of it and said, I would give to be able to spend one day in a major league clubhouse. Like, I would give my life to be able to do that. Like, just enjoy the season, do this, whatever. And he said it. Luck had it that the Orioles traded for him, and that he told a funny story too, that he after he got traded to the Orioles, he was golfing the next day. And it was a 410 number, and it was Mike Elias, and he answered, and he was like, hey, how are you? And they were like, hey, Mike, or hey, Ryan, it's Mike Elias from the Baltimore Orioles. Hey, Mike, how are you? Like, and he was like, good. And he was like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and DFA you. And he was like, oh, okay, because if you remember, they DFA'd him after they traded for him, and they moved him through waivers, and then he accepted the move to Norfolk. But again, he was just like, oh, I thought I was getting like a welcome call, and this is a DFA call. But he said being in Baltimore is the best thing that's happened to his baseball career. You could tell how much he loves it. If you saw him at any of the caravan events, like, he genuinely likes the people and the team and the fans and being here. And like people were coming up to him at the events on Thursday and talking to him. And then on Sunday, they would see him again. And he was like, hey, Beth, what's up? Like, Becky, how are you? Like, calling them by name. And they were like, why do you remember my name? Like, he did that to a girl at the Jimmy's event. She saw him at the caravan, and he was like, hey, Becky, how have you been? How's your spring been? And she was like, why do you remember like, how are you remembering my name? You don't have to. And he was like, because I remember it. So like, he's very happy to be here. And it's not just like, that he's like playing, he's okay. Like, he's playing awesome. He's top 5 in the ML in the AL in batting average, OPS, on base percentage. So all-star, like, there's a legit chance that he's an all-star. I mean, that I'm driving that train from now until the game. So like, you can get on, everybody get on, we'll road trip this thing. But yeah, I mean, it's been awesome to watch him, and the little league home run the other night in Fenway was great. He's getting pelted with balls every day now. He got hit in the head
The
yesterday.
back of the
Like,
head.
yeah, and the best part is he gets up and he's just like doing the thumbs up. Like, he's
So
just the
good.
best. So when a guy like that, who's like a good person, who enjoys being on a team and a winning culture, and like, just again, this guy has seen the darkest days, like, of all time, and probably thought that his career was over with. And then the next year, he's dropped right in the middle of the lineup into a team that's going to win 101 games. Like, that doesn't happen very often. Like, not many guys, lose 100 and win 100. I mean, him, Mullins, Hayes, some of those guys have done that, but it's got to be a really cool experience for him. And I know he really appreciates the love from the fans and the support and all that. So he's just, I don't know, he's awesome. So it's been a lot of fun to watch he's been on fire the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they're letting him play against lefties now too, which has always been my biggest gripe because they have him on the bench, and obviously his platoon splits are going to be like 300 against righties, and it'll be like 6 at bats against lefties. Like, nope, can't hit him. It's like, can you let him try? at
Yeah, I get,
all?
and again, I get it. Like, especially on a team like this, where it's like you got guys on the bench. Like to start the year, you had a guy like Ramon Urias on the bench. You had Gary Sanchez. You have Ramon Laureano. Like guys, that you have two hit righties or two hit lefties. I'm sorry, but again, at some point, baseball is baseball. Like sometimes lefties can hit lefties. That's perfectly. Like, it's okay. But yeah, the fact that now they're trotting him out there every night, and it's like, oh, also they're going to play him in right field a little bit. And he played left field at Fenway. Like they're trusting him a lot more. So that's kind of what you get, when you're producing. You make them not be able to take you out of the lineup. Like that's the coolest thing is, again, when you were playing so well, you're like, damn, I really don't want to play him against lefties, but I don't have a choice right now. This guy's on, like, he's on fire. Let's ride this thing out. So yeah, they're gonna let him play his way out of the lineup, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. I think he's just gonna keep on mashing. So
I'm with you on the get him to the All-Star game. I think that'd be a cool like career
so,
moment for him. Like
so cool, so cool.
I am worried though that that's going to be like the Machado when he was in 2018, our All-Star guy, and then like a week later they just trade him to like Boston or something.
He
Um,
mentioned to me that he thought that he thinks he was gonna. He said, "I think I'm gonna be here the whole year," and he was like, "I want to be here," but he was, he said like, "I think so." So that's, and again, he's not like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to get out of here and play for a winner." He's like, I want to stay in Baltimore. Like I'm here. Like I love this place." So he wants to be here. He wants to help turn this thing around. He told us at the event, he was like, "Listen," because people were asking me like, "Oh, how it sucks this year," and he's like, "It does, but we'll be okay." And he's like, "Listen, we're gonna make up." He said, if we can make up 1 or 2 games a week for the next 7 or 8 weeks and like find ourselves in a good spot, like we'll be okay. So, and you heard it his post game this weekend where he's like, listen, I'm having so much fun here. And yes, losing sucks, but like we're going to turn this thing around and we're going to play good baseball and everything has been going against us. And that's just not how life works. Nothing goes against you for, a year and a half, like it has been for the Orioles. Like it will turn around and it's just a matter of if and of when. So it'll happen, and O'Hearn will be there, with his shaggy hair. We were making fun of him for his hair the other
does
day.
have long hair now.
Well, he was. I won't say that conversation, but he was talking about how he wants to grow it out. So
Yes,
he's growing it out. But
let it
yeah,
eat.
I mean, it's we were saying it's funny because like we called Gunner and Jackson and Adley, they were like the golden retrievers, like they're bopping around and they're happy and they're doing that, and we're like Ryan O'Hearn is that bulldog, like that old like
Scowling.
yeah, like he's the dog in the adoption shelter in the back pen, and nobody even goes back there and looks at him, and he's like, listen. I'm just a dog. Like, let's just play. Like, let me play. Let me get out in the yard and like let me run. So he's
So
the best, and he's perfect for this team. He's the guy who's speaking up in the clubhouse. If you watched the Heston thing last year, he was telling us, when Heston got hit by the Yankees, who was the first guy out there? It was Ryan O'Hearn, and he said I was ready to go, and he said, "quote until I felt the hand of God on me." And he turned around, and Aaron Judge had his hand
oh,
on his shoulder, and that's when he's like, no, no, I'm good. I wasn't gonna do anything. I was just checking. I was just making sure that they're okay. Like I was just out here. Thank you for checking on me, though, Aaron. I appreciate it. But
straight up, like I'm sorry.
yes, I'm sorry, sir.
I'm
I
so
won't do it
sorry.
again. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So yeah,
God,
he's a
yeah,
beast.
I hope so, man. It's gonna be heartbreaking to see what the trade deadline is if keep on this pace being 1934. Is it gonna be Mullins and Sagano? Like, is that the two most likely guys you think?
Could be Eflin, could be Cano.
Eflin.
There's some bullpen guys. But yeah, I mean, and again, people were saying like, I hope that they don't trade. I think that it's tough because again, I mean, we saw in what 2022, this team was what a game like a game or two out of the playoff hunt, and Elias traded Trey Mancini. Like the heart and soul of the team. Like that's so people who are like, I don't know if Michael will make a trade. Like he traded Trey. Like he'll trade. He'll have no problem trading Set or anyone like that. So I don't know. I mean, again, it all just kind of depends on how they play. So if this thing really goes under, maybe with Eflin, maybe they do like Tigers with Jack Flaherty and like trade him, try and get him back. I don't think you can ever guarantee that, but that's somebody's going to be looking for pitching because you look around the league and every single pitcher is dropping with an arm injury, an elbow, a shoulder, an oblique, this, that, blah blah blah. So people need pitching. So again, it's kind of up to the guys and to see what they do.
It'd be sad to see Eflin go because you just look exactly like him, but it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm only about a foot and a half shorter than him. That's my like looking straight up at him. So
God, we need to make that happen before he gets dealt to somewhere.
I saw him in spring training. We were walking on the practice fields, and it's like you've been to those like baseball like complexes where they have like four stadiums in the middle, and
Yeah.
like they back up to each other. And we were like walking towards them, and there's on one field, some of the pitchers were cutting over maybe 50 or 25 feet in front of us, and he was walking in front of us. And it was like those videos you see of like the alligators on the golf course where you're like, holy crap, like this thing is massive. He was so big. Like he looked like he had a refrigerator on his upper body. Like his shoulders are so wide and massive. I never knew, obviously knew he was tall, but he's like the only other person I've seen like that in person was Julius Peppers, who is again a physical freak, and Eflin was just like this, just like a lumbering, like, and I was like, oh my god, he's massive. Like I will never be mistaken for that physical freak. Like it was crazy, but I just didn't expect him to be that big. Like tall, yes, big, no, but yeah, I hope he's here for a long time.
When I went to Rays camp, I got to interview Brandon Lau first, same height. Love that. Made
Yep,
me feel
yep.
great about myself.
We love a
Pete,
short king. Yep.
love a short king. I claim to be 5'10". He claims to be 2. He's not 5'10".
Yeah.
And then Pete Fairbanks comes in and he's 6'7" or 6'6" or whatever. I'm like, I'm a child. This is
Yeah, you're like this is not helpful to either of us. Like this
it's
is
a bad angle.
and that's the joke. Like when I do the events at Jimmy's, Johnny's always like, "Oh yeah, it's another chance for you to take a picture with a kid who's 10 years younger but 6 years taller or 6 inches taller than you." Like, yeah, great. Let's keep this going. So
I
it's a
feel
good
like
time.
Bryce Young in every picture. Yeah.
Pretty much. I get it. Perfectly normal height,
Perfectly
five eight,
normal.
5'9". You know, perfectly normal,
Yeah.
perfectly average. No, nothing to scoff at. So
My last thing for you was just about like the managerial stuff that's happened this year. Obviously, Hyde was out. We got Tony Mansolino in as the interim. Why does every Tony Mansolino quote seem like the Tim Robinson? Like, I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared. Like, every quote is like that.
yeah, I don't know. That may just be his personality. Like he's very again his press conferences. He's very like wide eyed. He's kind of bouncing around and all that. I don't know. I mean, I like the guy. Again, it seems like people already kind of had their mind made up on him. Um, and that was the thing. If you looked at the staff, like even when Hyde was the manager, it's Mansolino who's the third base coach. You had Chirinos who was the bench coach, and then you had Buck Britton who is maybe like an I don't know what's his like assistant bench. He's like something. It's like a I don't know, some arbitrary title where he's kind of floating around. But these guys are all young. There's not a lot of experience on any of them. Mansolino's been here, what, 3 or 4 years? So I kind of you knew it was going to be him. Like they didn't have Joe Madden sitting there ready or like Ryan Flaherty ready to come in. Um, but yeah, I mean he's given his answers are kind of like I know people hated it when he called I guess he called runs points
Yep.
like at one
A
point.
lot.
Like that was in that stretch that we were talking about before where I was just like, nope, not watching, not gonna watch. Like just didn't even see it. So people brought that up and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like I swear to God, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I saw the clip and I was like, whatever. Like I liked him though. I think his quotes, he seems just very honest. Like
Yeah.
the way that I like the way that after he got his first win, and they were like, "Oh, what does it mean for you to get your win?" And he's like, "This isn't about me. Like, I don't care. The people don't care about my first win. Like, this is for them out there." Which is right. And he had a quote too where he was like, people were like, "Oh, are you excited?" And he was like, "No, my friend got fired. Like, I didn't think that I would be the manager this year. Like, I thought we were going to be in the World Series. Like, and that's another thing. He's like, I don't want this job. Like, it's one of those like got too important at work, and
It's
then now
ruining
I
my
have
life.
now I have responsibilities. Like, that's kind of it. Where he's like, I didn't want this to happen. Like, this isn't like now good. Now I got my break finally. Like they're gonna now I can show them what I'm gonna do. He's like, listen, I was Hyde's guy. Like he doesn't want to be the manager. That's not what this isn't what he signed up for this year. So, I hope that he can do a good job the rest of the way. We don't have a reason not to like him. Again, he seems fine, but again, just the way Orioles Twitter nitpicks everything. Like they hated him before he had even put on his jersey. I do like that he wears the jersey. If you notice, he's always in a jersey, and I like that a lot. My cousin's best friend is the interim out in Colorado, Warren Schaefer, and he wore his jersey the first game and then he wore like a pullover the second game. And my cousin was just giving him so much crap. And he was like, you put that jersey on, you earned that. Like you should wear that jersey.
So weird they wear jerseys.
Yeah, again, it's like you never like Hyde was, they never wear. I don't know. It's weird. Some baseball managers never really they always wear the sweatshirt or a pullover or something. I don't know. I want to see him do well, obviously. I don't know what the end game is here for him. I hope he wins a ton of games more than he loses and maybe he makes it a tough decision on them, going into next year. I don't think so. I think they're going to go with another guy anyway, but I don't know. Let's have fun with it. This is again, it's already a lost season. Like, what are they going to get? They're going to get even worse. Like, oh no, they're going to lose more games. We've already been kicked in the stomach over and over and over. Like, what else does it matter? But I don't know. I'm a fan of Tony. I don't know why you wouldn't be. He hasn't done anything personally to me, so I don't know. Let's run it back, Tony. Let's see if we can win some games.
The honesty is cool. It's also like, I don't know, maybe I sometimes join in on like the people on Twitter. They're like, really take the bull by the horns, man. Stop saying you're naive and I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I think that's just because again, I mean, I hate that coaches and GMs and front office people just speak in cliche. Like,
oh, true.
I mean, even like him with Mullins, where he's like, oh, he's got a little knick-knack stuff and he's banged up. It's like, I get that you're not going to say, oh, yeah, his left ankle has been bothering him for a week or something like that. But like, give something more. And people crap on Elias for it. But like Harbaugh and DaCosta and everybody else are just as bad. And it's like, we're going to reevaluate this. Like, I just one time, like Ref Snyder, did you see his comments over the weekend where he was like, yeah, man, losing sucks. Like, we suck right now. I love that. Like, I think that is great. Like, I wish my softball team had press conferences. So as the manager, I could give one and be like, we played our asses off. We kicked the crap out of those guys tonight. Like, did you see that? Like, we smoked those balls. No manager is ever going to say that. Like, it's just, I don't know. I want guys to like talk like normal. I don't know. Be at the bar. Talk like you're at the bar, just like shooting the crap and I don't know. Have some fun with it. But again, I'm going to like Mansolino until he gives me a reason not to like him. And it's weird because in today's like age of sports, I feel like fan bases hate a manager or coach no matter what. Like every team hates their coach or manager. Every single one, I feel like. So like Yankee fans would fight Aaron Boone if they saw him on the street. I'm 100% positive. Even like Red Sox fans, they wouldn't fight Cora because I think Cora would mess them up. But even like with Cora, they're like, this guy's, we got to get him out of here. We got to do this and that. It's like, this guy won you a World Series. Like this, it's crazy. But that's the state of sports today. But I'm a Tony backer. I think our guy Zach Moore was calling them the Mansolinos with the capital O at the end. So I like that. So
somebody from Dundalk would love saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Take that one to Twitter. Be like shout out Zach for that one.
My last question is, if you had to pick the next manager, would it be any of Joe Madden, Skip Schumacher, Ryan Flaherty? Would it be any of those guys?
I don't know. I mean, I really haven't looked too deep into it. Schumacher's obviously like he's an interesting candidate. I don't know how well Madden would do. I mean, I know he's an analytics guy. He was the king of it, and the matchups and this. And that's the thing. I think the next guy they bring in like may just be a straight up computer nerd who's never even played baseball. Like this may be a guy who's like never put on a pair of baseball pants and just has Microsoft Excel up. Like he may not know like what MLB The Show is. He's like, oh, I just do Excel all day. But he's going to be much more analytically based, I would think. But I don't know. They have to nail it. I mean, Flaherty would be. I was a Flaherty believer when he was here. I'm still, if you gave him 400 at bats, I think he would have hit 20 home runs. I'm a big fan of his. I know obviously he's been rumored to get like the San Diego job last 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
I think he's now under Craig Counsell. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to go back to the Cubs bench coach. I don't know if he's the bench coach, but I don't know if they want to take another guy off the Cubs again, like they did with Hyde.
David Ross, maybe.
Who?
David Ross.
David Ross is another guy. I think they need a guy who has won. I think they need a veteran guy who can control a clubhouse. Not that again, Hyde didn't, but I think they need a veteran guy. Like that's why I don't think it will be Flaherty. I think they need someone who's battle tested and has been there and has won and has lost. Like again, the big thing with this team this year is they don't handle losing well. And you see it, like the body language stinks. And if they ground out one day, they're still banging their helmets and throwing stuff and this and that. And like, these guys have to know that it is okay. Ooh, good play. All right, bases loaded now. Guy got pulled off the bag. But like, it's okay to be bad in this game. Like, it's going to happen. And the young guys can't seem to let that go. They need a manager who can like sit them down and be like, hey, listen, it's fine. Like, yes, you struck out. That's perfectly fine. Like, you have another at bat in 40 minutes. Like, go get ready, stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, obviously Ross has been there. Ross was kind of that guy when he was, a player. I mean, he was basically looked at as another manager. Again, Madden obviously has done it. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I know they said they want to wait until the end of the season. I don't know if they do, but it kind of gives them the advantage right now because, I mean, out of the three teams that are looking for a manager, them, the Rockies, the Pirates. I mean, who is the best situation? Like, you tell me who you would rather manage there. So I don't know. They're going to have their pick, but it's going to be interesting. All I'll say is, I mean, Elias has to nail this. It's his last manager hire, good or bad. So they have to absolutely nail this. This manager and the offseason coming up. So it's I think it's the biggest offseason in team history, franchise history. So we'll see.
100%. Yeah, I think that's a great way to sum it up. It's just like there's no more room for error left when you're going to lose 90 to 100 games this year.
No, you have to. Again, this isn't a rebuild. Like, it's a retool. It is a reload. It's not a rebuild, but you have to sign guys to get this pitching staff, rounded out. You have to start signing some of your guys to extensions. And you have to nail this manager hire. So it's very important. Again, if he doesn't do those things, not like just one of them, if he doesn't do all those things, I think Elias is out probably sometime next year, or who knows. So he's got to do it. So
the most important offseason in Orioles history incoming. I can't wait for that to happen. That way, give us something to look forward to. It's like that's the best part of the being a fan of a bad team. It's like, first of all, we're gonna see who they draft. But then also, like, in the offseason, like, ooh, what moves are they gonna use to upgrade this team and get us out of the basement? So
yeah, and again, it's like none of us expected to be in this position, and we didn't think that you would be looking at like, draft picks and draft slots and stuff like that. But they gotta. That's where we are, at least right now. So got to get the guys right and got to get them going. So it's gonna be a big one. Gonna be a big winner.
No doubt. All right, dude. Well, I really appreciate your time as always. Hopefully the next time we have you on, it'll be a little more positive news, but things might be looking up in some regards. We have, good pitching, young guys are coming back. So, really, really appreciate it, man.